In 2025, Hollywood no longer worships curves, it is obsessed with the art of disappearing. A mysterious form of chemical magic is silently draining the vitality of top superstars, transforming them into strangers so unrecognizable, it's chilling. Behind the glamour lies a naked truth about the price of perfection that no one dares to whisper. Before we expose this secret, let's take a quick poll. Comment 1 if these transformations leave you shocked, or 0 if you think it's normal. Don't forget to like and subscribe right now, because what you are about to hear will completely change your perspective on beauty. In the film capital, where artifice is sometimes revered more than truth, Chelsea Handler emerges as a rare exception. The sharp-tongued comedian who has never hesitated to tear away layers of glossy deception chose to stand up in the very eye of the storm. She is among the few who have dared to admit that she was once a captive of the trend of chemically shrinking the body, a craze whispered about as a kind of miracle drug for the elite, despite the fact that it was originally created to treat serious metabolic diseases, not to sculpt physiques. Handler described the experience not as a journey toward health, but as an act of self-destruction disguised as aesthetics. She spoke of months when her body was drained dry of nausea that knocked her flat just moments before going on air, and of emotional turmoil that left her mind wandering lost in a fog. Most frightening in Handler's confession was how disturbingly easy it was to gain access to this forbidden substance. A renowned doctor, instead of offering medical counsel, handed her a pass into a world of illness without a single warning about the price that would have to be paid. Chelsea Handler's story lands like a splash of cold water in the face of a lake boiling over with vanity. She came to realize that the change in appearance was nothing more than a hollow shell, while inside was a battered body crying out for help. Even after breaking free from dependence on that dark magic, the digestive and psychological after-effects continued to haunt her like persistent ghosts. Her warning raises a painful question. Are we normalizing the sacrifice of health simply? In the memory of millions of viewers, John Goodman is the embodiment of solidity, a giant with a warm heart and a seemingly endless reservoir of vitality. He was the backbone of classic works, where his imposing physique was part of the appeal itself, conveying a sense of comfort and authenticity. Yet the recent appearance of this screen legend has left the public stunned. The once commanding man now emerges with a completely unfamiliar look, as if a part of his soul and life force had been drained by some unseen power. A gaunt face, sunken eyes, and clothes hanging loosely off a frame that looks alarmingly thin. The transformation unfolded at a dizzying speed, making the line between a health-driven effort and the ravages of time more fragile than ever. Though Goodman has remained silent amid the speculation whispers among industry insiders, all point to the same unsettling question. Could he be the next victim of the chemically fueled weight loss craze sweeping through Hollywood? Experts warn that the pressure to rejuvenate and compete with a younger generation of actors has pushed even the most established veterans into this dangerous race. Reports of extreme exhaustion coupled with rumors of secret hospitalizations have only intensified the fear. John Goodman's current image is not merely heartbreaking, it stands as a brutal testament to the fact that the monster called beauty standards spares no one, not even legends. It is ready to devour a person's uniqueness, leaving behind nothing but a hollow shell labeled on trend. Katy Perry, a name once synonymous with an explosion of color and energy, a pop icon as radiant as the fireworks she famously sang about. Audiences were accustomed to a Katy who was brimming with vitality, powerful and captivating. Yet her most recent red carpet appearances paint a far darker, completely opposite picture. Instead of admiration, fans now look at her with concern and unease. The smile is still there, but her eyes seem to have lost the spark of passion that once defined her. Veteran photographers admit that capturing truly radiant moments of her has become increasingly difficult. Makeup artists have had to deploy every contouring and concealing technique at their disposal to fill in the hollowed planes of her face, attempting to reconstruct a beauty eroded by time and perhaps by artificial interventions as well. More unsettling are the backstage stories. A star who once electrified stadiums for hours now appears drained, needing support after brief public appearances. Perry's sudden weight loss aligns eerily with the rise of appetite-suppressing substances in the entertainment industry. Though nothing has been confirmed, the contrast between the message of female empowerment she has long championed and her increasingly fragile frame today forms a heartbreaking paradox. Is it possible that, to maintain the throne in the kingdom of pop, even queens are forced to trade their health to chase an invisible standard? Katy Perry's story sounds a warning bell about the crushing pressure weighing on women in this multi-billion-dollar industry. Behind the heavy layers of makeup lies sheer exhaustion. Is the price of the pop throne simply too high? Leave a 2 if this story haunts you, or a 5 if you see it differently. Hit like and subscribe so we can continue exposing Hollywood's hidden corners in our next video. For more than a decade, James Corden was likened to the world's beloved guy next door, a man with a full build who radiated warmth and knew how to soothe audiences with booming, infectious laughter. His appeal never came from distant glamour, but from empathy and an honest embrace of his own imperfections. Yet when the stage lights dimmed and he recently re-emerged, the public was stunned to see a new James Corden who felt almost unrecognizable. The change went far beyond the numbers lost on the scale. It seemed as though a part of the generous, big-hearted spirit of the once joyful funny man had been quietly stolen away. Corden attributes his transformation to consistent walking routines and dietary restraint. However, in the eyes of industry observers, the reality paints a different picture. His facial features have become sharply defined, his skin lacks natural elasticity, and most notably, the famed spark of his energy seems to be fading. He appears like a hastily sculpted version of himself, where sharp angles have replaced the softness that once defined him, creating a mixture of admiration and apprehension. Behind the velvet curtain, close collaborators have begun whispering about unusually long breaks and the exhaustion etched across the face of someone once hailed as a tireless energy machine. While no concrete evidence has emerged, the eerie correlation between his gaunt appearance and the characteristic side effects of clandestine chemical interventions circulating in the industry cannot be ignored. Could it be that in pursuit of the ideal look, his body is silently weathering internal storms that the camera will never capture? What makes the public's heart break more than just his weight loss is the sense of a broken trust. When someone who built a career on authenticity suddenly dons an enigmatic, hard-to-decipher cloak, audiences begin to wonder, is that smile still genuinely carefree, or has it come at the cost of both physical and mental exhaustion to secure a pass in the unforgiving world of Hollywood? Today's James Corden stands as evidence that sometimes changes in appearance come at the expense of an artist's very unique identity. Lizzo has never been just a voice. She is a creed of pride, a steadfast fortress defending unconventional beauty. She built her throne with bricks of self-respect, becoming a guiding lighthouse for millions of souls lost amid harsh prejudices. Yet when the curtain was recently lifted, the public was stunned by an unfamiliar figure. This sudden shrinking did not appear to be the result of effort, but rather a seismic shock that shook to the very foundations the beliefs she had painstakingly cultivated. Instead of applause, the crowd's reaction was a chilling silence, the sound of disappointment and suspicion. Even her most loyal fans suddenly felt lost in a maze of unanswered questions. Was the self-love armor she once wore a steadfast truth or merely a brilliant performance on life's stage? A sense of betrayal crept into the minds of admirers as they wondered whether the icon they revered was truly as resilient as she appeared or just as vulnerable to the undercurrents of the times. In the dim shadows of the entertainment industry, it seems there are invisible hands manipulating the game. Backstage sources whisper about the suffocating pressure from profit margins and the expectations of the elite forcing even goddesses to mold themselves into predetermined shapes. This rapid transformation bears the unmistakable mark of industrial magic modern interventions, quietly sculpting stars into uniform versions, erasing the unique contours that once defined them. Though the central figure remains silent, this transformation has inadvertently written a modern tragedy. The cost is not measured on a scale, but in the potential loss of one's very identity, the most precious asset of an artist. Lizzo's story is a haunting warning. When an icon of personal freedom submits to the mold of the masses, we don't just lose an image but also witness the cruelty of a machine ready to crush any uniqueness to cater to public taste. Mindy Kaling was once hailed as a beautiful glitch in the film capital, proving that sharp intellect and charm could triumph over soulless golden measurements. She was a mirror reflecting the dreams of ordinary girls, a kindred spirit everyone wanted to connect with. Yet the present-day Mindy seems to be tearing up her life's script to write a new, unfamiliar chapter. Her body's rapid slimming has transformed her from an emblem of approachability into a cold, wax figure, precisely the stereotype she once satirized with her humor. Although she insists that this transformation is the fruit of discipline, discerning eyes detect traces of a fast-track machine working against the body's natural clock. Observers note an unusual speed in the change, one that seems to exceed natural limits and hints at intervention from modern science. It appears that the time pressure of being an A-list star has forced her to seek shortcuts to reshape herself in record time regardless of nature's laws. Even more worrying than the physical loss are the whispers about changes in her psyche. The woman who once laughed freely at her own imperfections is now said to be imprisoned by her own reflection. Backstage sources paint a grim picture. The carefree confidence of yesteryear has given way to a constant obsession over every camera angle and contour, as if she fears that this new shell could vanish at any moment. Mindy Kaling's transformation presents a cruel paradox. The woman who once broke every barrier has now become the strictest adherent to Hollywood's unwritten rules. Audiences mourn not only a familiar image, but also fear that she is trapped in the snare called perfection, a glamorous yet confining gilded cage. In that space, self-satisfaction remains an illusory horizon. The harder one chases it, the further it drifts into the unknown. When Rebel Wilson boldly declared it the year of health, the world erupted in boundless inspiration. It was not just a personal promise, but hailed as a powerful manifesto from a comedic star determined to rewrite her body's destiny. The public watched her with admiration, seeing her journey as a modern fairy tale where human willpower triumphs over old habits. The image of a woman who once used laughter to mask insecurity, now courageously stepping into the light to reshape herself, touched millions of hearts, painting a perfect picture of effort and transformation. However, when the stage lights dimmed and the velvet curtain fell, the fairy tale began to reveal the raw cracks of reality. Her physical transformation occurred at an almost impossible speed, as if she had discovered a secret shortcut through the usual biological laws. Experts and keen observers started raising looming questions. Is this truly the fruit of sweat poured into workouts, or is there some technological secret hidden behind the staggering before and after photos? The rapidity of the change sparked suspicion of a kind of chemical magic intervening in this natural process. The suspicion didn't stop at the methods it escalated. Into disappointment as the deeply human personal journey gradually morphed into a meticulously staged commercial campaign. Lucrative endorsement deals and booming business ventures tied to her new image blurred the fragile line between an inspirational figure and a salesperson. Audiences began to feel lost in a maze of information. Were they witnessing an extraordinary feat of human will, or merely spectators of a perfectly crafted marketing script backed by... Rebel Wilson may have reached for the golden trophy of her dream physique, but the price she paid was the fracture of trust among those who once revered her. This story serves as a sharp, cold reminder of the complexities of celebrity life, a labyrinth where truth is often hidden beneath layers of glamorous filters. It exposes the reality that even the most seemingly human and inspiring journeys can conceal commercial agendas or silent interventions that no one wants to admit. In the end, what we see, is it reality, or merely a carefully painted shadow cast by the entertainment industry? Perfection is an illusion, but the cost paid with your health is painfully real. Don't turn your body into clay for others to mold. Stay mindful and love yourself before it's too late. What do you think about this trend of trading health for appearance? Comment, agree, if you choose health over artificial beauty, or share your own thoughts. Don't forget to like this video to spread the message, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue exposing more truths. Goodbye and stay healthy.